Once you've narrowed down your list, you can then look at the double stars and just start looking them up. Look at something that looks interesting. For example, let's look at something that has, here's an interesting one. It has, a 2,851 year orbit. That's pretty long. We probably don't have much data on that from the last 150 or 200 years. How about something more like a 384 year orbit? So what I'm going to do is go over to the RA and DEC and copy down. Actually, I'm going to copy the WDS number. So I Control C that. Now in the spreadsheet on the first page, they have a link to the 6th orbit catalog. So you can open that up. Your computer might warn you about it not being secure, as you can see up here. That should be fine. It's probably secure. It's from the U.S. Naval Observatory. And if you scroll down on the Orbital 6 catalog to HTML, this gives us some information, and this is where we can find the orbit, the calculated orbits. So I'm going to do a Control F for find, Control V to paste in the double star I selected. There's a whole bunch of inputs for it, but notice a lot of these are the STFA 32AC. That's the AC component, not the AB component. So we can actually just go look at the orbit. That's the P here. Click on that, and you can look at the recent data. So, or all the data that's collected on it as of whenever this orbit was determined. So the green plus signs are visual observations. These were the first ones. And you'll notice here a discovery code, 1874 is when this was first reported. And then this gives you an indication about who determined the orbit, who did the orbital calculation and wrote the paper on it. So this orbit was calculated in 2009. Now, the pink observations are photographic and more recent. And this little diagram at the bottom right tells you the direction of the orbit. So the secondary star is traveling in this direction around the primary star. The blue is speckle interferometric data. And there's an H or a T here for the Hipparcos or Tycho satellite. Now this one might be interesting. We could find out when its most recent data was collected, but it would be interesting. We could add to the orbit by another data piece right here. So then you can go back, and actually we can look. I'm going to do the find again. Control F, enter to find that star. And you can look actually. You can look here. You could actually go and look up this paper, the references. You could find the references here where the data orbit was calculated. Also, you can go find out more information from this if we go back from the U.S. Naval Observatory's page. If we go back to the U.S. Naval Observatory page and go to the WDS itself, now one of the things we want to look up this star, but we need to know what its RA and DEC are to know which of these 4 databases it's in. So we can go back to our spreadsheet, and the one we selected is 1657, it's RA. So now we can go back to the WDS. 12 to 18 is its section. And now we can do the Control F again to find. Put in the one we're looking for, hit enter, it's finding them. So now we can see when the first observation was and the most recent observation, which was actually 5 years ago. That might be interesting to take another measurement of this star. And then here's the information about it, which you can see up here. This is the number of observations. So 31 between the 1908 and 2013 observations. And then theta first and theta last. Rho, this is the separation, first and last, 2.9 to 5.1. So if we go back and look at the orbit again. So we go back to the orbital catalog, back to the orbits, orbital elements, do our Control F to find that object again, and then look at the orbit here. So notice the separation has gone from about, what was it, 2.9 to 5.1, over, or 2 point something, over that period of time that it's been measured.